Hello and welcome to the show. It's 2019 Weekly with Salamat Hassan, and still on the aftermath of the general election, we have brought a conversation to the candidate, the former presidential candidate, and also national chairman of the Abundant Nigeria Renewal Party, Mr. Tope Fasua. Welcome to the show, sir.
Good morning. It's great to be here.
Yes. All right, sir, let's go straight to the point. Now, you were one of the top candidates, that vied for the presidency. And, you felt your impact. We heard your debate. You have some intellectual, knowledge and experience that you wanted to, affect in the nation. But some people have argued that, so many candidates that lost had weak strategies. What's your take on that?
Strategy is specific to cultures. We, of course, we couldn't have expected to have won the elections, if you ask me. But because we're just trying for the first time. Many people who get to, except on a few occasions, people who get into such positions, people who have tried and tried and tried again. However, what we did was absolutely necessary in order to kind of change the rhetoric. Strategy or no strategy, if we were planning strategy, we'll still be planning strategy till date, and the election would have come and gone. A lot of us depended on debates, a lot of us depended on pushing out ideas that we know wouldn't have come out. Now look at what happened, that especially in states where they had this one or two of these ruling parties, and of course in the federal, and they had incumbents in Nigeria don't go for debates. They don't want to analyze what they've done in the last 4 years. They just want to get in all the same, using whatever kind of means necessary, including, fair and foul, in order to get there. So if we weren't on that space, who would have debated? Nobody. It would just be a case of, okay, give every Nigerian 2,000 naira and let them go and vote for you. So those who are blowing that grammar about no strategy and so on, should understand that would have been their situation. I mean, between Buhari and Atiku, they got 97% of the votes. The rest of the people, we shared 3% of the votes. I mean, how much more resounding could that rejection be? But nobody will say there wasn't any option.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about the coalition of political parties now. We talked about people having to choose between, just two options. Now, people have also come out to say that if, other political parties can merge, to form a third option or even a fourth option, that it would stand a better chance at winning elections like this. What is your?
It could, but it depends. You see, it could make a dent. But if we could actually come together and give one person, that means that's the singular person that will debate with himself, because the other guys won't show up. So that debate that we had, that we showed the world that we had ideas, wouldn't have even been there. And that's for me the only thing we probably gained from these last elections, So, and again, if we had only one person, it would be easy to take that person out. So you don't put all your eggs in one basket. Getting one person means that we have to merge idiosyncrasies, ideologies, ideas, visions, nightmares. Some people's vision is a nightmare. So you have to, in order for you to walk through all of that, allegiances that they have, who are they bowing for at night? Where are they getting, their funding from? What is their citizens? What's their attitude? You're having to merge a lot of things. I had one or two issues with PACT because I felt that, look, number one, I told them, I advised them from day one. The only way this thing will work is for total transparency, like never before. Our meetings should be on Facebook Live. Number one. Number two, I said, the moment you do that, and also, please, let's expand the circle, because then we're like 11 or 12. And then we were still at the level of aspirants. And so there were like 50 other people I knew who were running. And I said, the next thing is we must debate. Let's begin to pair ourselves 2-2. We don't have to choose a winner. But let's begin to tell Nigerians what we want to do for them. And let's put it on Facebook Live. Let Nigerians listen to what we have to say, And then if you can do that, I said that's the way we will eventually, we can even say, okay, fine. Let Nigerians go and vote for who they want online. And the guy said, no, that we should choose among ourselves. And when I kept insisting that, this should happen, they put something out and said, well, anybody that does not fall, choosing among ourselves, should leave. And I left. So 2 weeks later, they actually chose somebody. By then I had left. And of course, you know what happened. So, at the end of the day, 4 people voted for Fela, 3 for Kingsley. I felt it was too slim, and this was going to bind on Nigeria. It wasn't going to be binding on Nigerians, you know what I'm saying? But if we had had a very robust, I said, look, we would have created the election before the election, the debate before the debate, the buzz, and, it would have, it sounded a bit academic, but that's the only way it could have worked.